What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Rising of the Shield Hero Season 3. This is episode, what are we on? Episode 3,
Well,
I think. Yeah,
episode
episode,
3, yeah.
yeah, with me as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah. It was a rather slow-paced episode, but also,
Yeah.
if well, obviously, the one thing that really shows off, with Now for me, that he's not, like, your typical, hero of sorts. He can be a nice guy at times, but obviously it shows that, he can be ruthless, um, in certain occasions.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the interesting things about Season 1 is that, now Fumi kind of has a bit of a darker side to him at times. I mean, of course, like we were talking about, I think we mentioned in the reviews for the first season, is that, and of course in the novels, like that's touched upon a lot more about how Naofumi is just like, um, he really has like a lot of PTSD from what happened in at the events of season 1, and how it's kind of like affected his view on women in general, and he kind of has this sort of a darker side to him, but they don't really go into that too much in the anime. Um, but yeah, in this episode, for instance, like I think he's not so much concerned about the state. I guess that the sister is in of the tiger siblings. It's more so that he worries about their value or something like that. I think because he's having a conversation with the slave trader about it, and he says like they won't really. It's about like they won't really fetch a high price because of their, I think, their sister's condition.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, eventually, yeah. Now, if when you just decides to heal Full's younger sister also by giving her like what was it? I think it was like the potion from Yggdrasil or something like that. So he gives it to her on on several occasions on a regular basis until her physical like appearance finally heals up, with the exception of her sight. So
Yeah,
I
she's
mean,
still blind.
yeah, I mean, but Full is of course grateful of to Naofumi for helping to heal his sister. So Naofumi, of course, purchases them both, as well as like with uh, not Nadia help bringing in all the other slave demi-human slaves back to Naofumi's village, and basically most of this episode was just you know, Naofumi and the others, as well as Full and Alto, um, spending their time back in Naofumi's village, until
Mhm.
like the village suddenly gets attacked by these slave traders or bandits, while Naofumi and the others were away.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, they end up burning down some of the village, and they, uh, well, I think it was Fall. He remembers that Naofumi mentioned that there is a hidden flare that he can fire if he ever needs any help, and he basically goes to find it, and he fires it, but of course, like right after that, he gets captured by one of the bandits. Um, but of course, before anything can really happen, of course, Naofumi pretty quickly shows up to save them. Um, and yeah, I mean, they're really the bandits are really no match for Raphtalia and any of the other the others. So they get taken down pretty easily. Um,
Yeah.
and now Fumi's just mad because they burned down some of the houses, I think, and he's gonna have to repair them.
Yeah. Initially, he wanted these guys executed,
Yeah, he
but
wanted to just execute.
yeah,
I
but
guess that's another thing we should point out is that how Nofumi is not really, he does have sort of like, I guess you would say, somewhat anti-hero like tendencies, as he doesn't really mind doing stuff like that, and he's open to he was just fully willing to execute them for what they did.
yeah,
Uh,
but once he finds out from Claire that they're working for this high ranking nobleman who worships like the other three heroes instead of the shield, um, then like it complicates things for Naofumi. So he decides to have like all the slave traders become slaves to themselves by sending him over to what was it the to the demi-human country to be to work as slaves
I
now.
think it was like, was it Spielheim or something like that, or I forget what it
Yeah.
was called, but yeah, it's like they weren't really, because I mean, at first Naofumi said like, yeah, I'm going to turn them into slaves and sell them, and they didn't really seem to care about that because uh, they would still be in the country that worships the three other heroes. But when Naofumi threatens to send them to the other country, the demi-human country, that's that's when they start begging, like, they don't want to go there. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, so that's what ends up happening to them. He just sends them over there to be sold, I guess, as slaves.
yeah. And there was another scene that happens after this is that when Naofumi and the others go to meet the queen, they run into like the former disgraced king, who runs into them. But we find out like he the former king runs into both Full and his sister also, and he asks like
Yep.
what their
Well,
names were, and
at first when this happened, I was like, I was kind of confused as to why he kind of had the reaction that he had because he acted really surprised, and I was wondering if there was some kind of history we didn't know about there. But of course, we kind of learned why later, um, which kind of like I guess you could say somewhat like recontextualizes why he treated the Shield Hero the way he did in the first season. Um, because we learned from the Queen about his sister, and that his sister, uh, what was it like? His sister was the Shield Hero did something to her. I forget exactly. Like the one of the other, I guess one of the other Shield
it's
Heroes.
had something to do with what happened in the demi-human country, like Silvela. I
Yeah,
can't pronounce it, but of course, it reminds him like of what happened to his sister, and I think the former king kind of hinted at this, like during the first season of like how the Shield Hero took everything from him, and I think we kind of know why, but I don't understand why he needs to take it out on Naofumi because Naofumi technically wasn't the person who did this to him.
yeah. I mean, the Shield Hero is just a title. It's not the same person. Um, but yeah, I mean, so I guess that means this season we'll probably learn more about his character and maybe like why he treats Naofumi the way he does. Um, Especially since like he was one of the characters on the one of the promotional posters that we saw before the season came out.
Yeah.
So I assume he's probably going to play a major role. I'm guessing in the season.
Probably like an important supporting role of some kind, but
Yeah.
yeah, and plus, like of course, now we know that he's also a former staff hero as well. So there's also that. But by the end of the episode, the queen, of course, informs Naofumi and the others that she's found the location of Motoyasu, the spear hero. So it looks like we're finally going to see Motoyasu again after all this time.
Oh, great. Uh, uh, but yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. I feel like I don't know why Naofumi. I guess the only reason Naofumi would want to even try to find him is because they need to fight against what was it, the Phoenix.
Yeah,
Um,
the spirit phoenix.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it'd be interesting to know like what happened to Motoyasu. Not to mention the fact that the queen mentions that mine has also gone missing as well. So that it could have. I think she might have played a role of what happened to the other three heroes.
yeah, probably. Um, it was another decent episode. Like you said, it was a slower episode, but had some interesting reveals in regards to the king, and it kind of tried to sort of more or less like introduce us to the tiger siblings. Um, but yeah, I mean, and I mean that there for the brief, I guess I wouldn't really call it a fight, but when they confront the bandits, I mean, animation still looks pretty decent. Definitely not what season 2 looked like. So I mean, it's definitely better than that.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's fairly decent episode. I don't really have too much to say about it, though. I mean, I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
So far this season is much better improvement over what season two did so far. Um, it's definitely giving us some amount of character development, including showcasing like how what's the best word to describe Noah for me right now is like he like I said, he's not your typical like hero of sorts. Like he can be like he can be a kind person on some occasions, but he gets can't he kind of goes overboard in some ways when he needs to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Yeah, it's kind of an interesting take on on the character we've come to know since season one.
Yeah. But yeah, guys. So that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.